Hello folks, bit of a late video this week at the in-laws, so just doing things on the fly really, if I'm 100% honest. But this week I'm going to be talking to you about the conditioning work that we're getting. Now both programs at the moment are doing very similar conditioning pieces, so the way that it's laid out is going to stay very similar throughout this cycle. Now, the way I'm doing it is it's essentially interval training, but we've got very strict rest parameters. So normally in interval training, what we do is we'd have maybe 2, 3, 4 exercises, one after the other, or just a single exercise followed by a rest period. Here, what I've done is actually built in the rest into the intervals. The reason for this is it breaks the training down a little bit more, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to sustain it, and it isolates each movement. So when we do that, you can really clearly work out what is spiking your heart rate if you're struggling to sustain the work, because we're always talking about being sustainable in our conditioning pieces, and that sustainability is really important to get long-term progression and build aerobic capacity. And for those of you looking to build muscle, that's incredibly important. For those of you looking to get stronger, and also for those of you looking to burn body fat, but also for those of you looking to get fitter, that sustainability is so important. So if I'm doing a piece of work, and so for instance, this week, we've got row 250 meters, rest 10 seconds, 15 Russian kettlebell swings, and then rest 10 seconds and 14 table rocks. Now, when I'm doing that piece, normally if it was a standard interval, I'd come out of the interval and I'd either feel like I'd paced it well or paced it poorly. But if I'd paced it poorly, I wouldn't know why necessarily. It might be hard to pick out which movement has spiked my heart rate. Whereas this really helps you to isolate, and you can focus on taking your time with that movement the next time round. You'll also notice a lot of the time I've put in a movement at the end of the set that you can't pace. So like a table rock or a bent hollow hold, you can't pace that. That is a static hold, and it's a bit like using farmer's carries. They're often in there intentionally to slow you down and to allow the piece of work to be aerobic. It's also starting to work elements of muscular endurance in an aerobic setting, which is extremely important. And for anyone looking for longevity and who's more focused on health and feeling good the day after, it's a way to get really good aerobic training in whilst not destroying your joints. Now, I'm not saying that other forms of exercise necessarily destroy the joints, but doing consistently high effort intervals and aerobic training with things like wall balls, kipping pull-ups, burpees, they're high impact movements. And what we can do with muscular endurance, or what I'd call like grinder pieces, is we can just reduce that intensity on the joints, leave your soft tissue system feeling a little bit fresher, and it allows you to recover. It allows the nervous system not to get as inflamed and jacked up, and week to week, day to day, we actually feel better, but we're still getting pretty fucking fit. It's actually something I use for a lot of performance focused people, athletes in the sport of fitness, at more of an accumulation stage of training, when we're looking to build the volume up and really build that joint integrity and accumulate lots of volume. Can set them up really well for in-season training. So it's something that we can take away and use as a tool to manipulate our training to make it more productive, but in a way that still feels pretty fucking challenging. Anyone who's done interval training with kettlebell front rack wall sits or tough farmer's carries will know that they're pretty savage, but they don't leave your joints fried and they don't leave your central nervous system as destroyed, because you can't create quite as much power. So I just thought I'd give you an insight into that. If you've got any questions about the way I've designed the training, if you've got suggestions or anything of that nature, please do drop me a line. I hope you're enjoying the training. Any questions about the training itself, any problems, again, please drop me a line. Hope you have a cracking week, and I will catch up with you next week.